Hi, I'm Pastor Brenda. Really glad to meet you in this space, that you're here to learn with us. Just so you know up front, friendships require vulnerability. That's what we're talking about. We're going to be triggering those trust issues. But at this church, we talk about our trust issues so much, we actually published a Bible study called Trust Issues with God. It's come from what we've learned over the last 3 years at this church. It's full of the Bible. It's got video teaching attached to it, so it's over at Amazon. But us talking about vulnerability in this church, not a new thing. Us talking about our trust issues, not a new thing at all. We are in perfect progress trying to figure this out together. So, on your life team, and I hope you have that PDF download, on your life team, there's a category called Soul Friend. This night is about the soul friend, hence the vulnerability. All right, so the description of a soul friend that we came up with in groupthink is, you could say best friend, but BFF has minimalized what a best friend is. It's just so generic now. This person knows your soul. You're connected over time, over memories, and spiritually. This friendship takes time to form. Time. It's a permanent member on your life team. Even if you don't see each other for years, this person, this soul friend of yours, has shaped you and really deserves a permanent membership on your life team. This is a rare friendship, a dream friendship. It is a deep friendship. This friendship has faced vulnerability and survived. You're safe to be an open book in this friendship. This friendship is one that makes you a better person. You don't feel judged by them, and if they do judge, you would say, screw you, and you would still be friends. You would also listen to their judgment because they love you so. This friend is there wherever you need them. This person you can call no matter who or what is going on in your life at that moment. This can also be a life friend, which is another category on your team, but this has got one major difference. This friend really knows who you are, who your soul is. The difference between a life friend, I already said that. You don't have the capacity to invest your soul and time to have too many soul friends. These are special people, and I'm hoping as I read this list that you saw some faces of these soul people in your life. They're on your life team right now because these are your soul friends. But you also may be feeling some pain because the empty chair, which is also an honorary member of your life team, this person may be an empty chair for you right now. This soul friend of yours could have died. You guys could have had a betrayal, and you're not friends any longer, or a move happened and distance happened, but you still know what a soul friend is because of this person. So again, we honor the empty chair as part of your life team, and we honor who this person was in your life to make you who you are today, which is very great to meet you. So we have a groupthink, it's not a good word, I know, definition of friendship that we came up with as a church. We meet on Friday nights over Zoom Live, and this is what we came up with. Friendship has some qualifications. It must be mutually successful together. There is trust, dependency, they know your patterns, and they can tell you something is wrong and still be there for you. Now, this friendship definition definitely applies to the soul friend, will apply to other friends on our PDF list there, but I just want you to just give me a working definition we're going to be using through this entire series. Everyone else who doesn't fit those qualifications are your acquaintances. Our life has room for acquaintances, but we're talking about friendship in this series. Now, we have a writer friend of mine who has spoken at our church, Susan Erico, and this is what she wrote. Here's what true friendship can't be. Two people doing things together aimed at the bad. It can't be fellow gang members vandalizing the local bridge together. Two guys watching porn together. Two girls gossiping about a classmate or bullying her on social media. Friendship isn't operative in these cases because the actions taken are against the goods. The actions' goals are bad. Each person moves not towards flourishing, but towards decay and diminishment, and that's not friendship. And what she calls the goods are life, knowledge, beauty, friendship, play, and practical reasonableness. And she made that list up, really, she stole it from other people. This is a philosophical thought. It goes back to Confucius, Aristotle, Cicero, Thomas Aquinas, and hundreds of others who have kind of collectively philosophized that we need these goods in our lives for our lives to flourish. So, for example, if you pursue knowledge, not ignorance, you will flourish. If your friend is helping you be ignorant, you're not going towards the goods there, so this is not a friendship. Do you see what I'm saying here? If you pursue friendship, not isolation, you will flourish. If you pursue beauty, not ugliness, you flourish. Flourishing is a term we use that says we are going to be happy. Happens over long term. It takes time, but it happens when actions point at the basic goods. Again, those basic goods are life, knowledge, beauty, friendship, play, and practical reasonableness. So this is all a part of friendship. Does this make sensible sense? So our verse for the night is a really good one. Romans 12, 9 and 10. I'm going to read this to you. It's going to make practical sense. But also, you're going to start feeling the vulnerability of what's being asked of you. Don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Hate what is wrong. Hold tightly to what is good. Love each other with genuine affection. And take delight in honoring each other. This verse calls out the vulnerability of our relationships. Don't pretend, but you must invest your heart. You will have to call out what is wrong at times with your friend. That's right there in Romans 12. It also made our groupthink definition. Isn't it interesting? That we do need to have, when our lives are going astray or something is wrong, we need someone to tell us that. And that is a value. That is a good. That is love. You're to take delight in honoring each other. There's vulnerability in that. It's not about you. It's about the other person who has the ability to hurt you, but you're going to honor this person anyway and take delight. Ooh, joy is the most vulnerable emotion there is for that very reason, because there's risk involved. So we're calling our shot early in this series. We're going to get this right out on the table. We're going to hear it the rest of the series, but this is what it is. Vulnerability is involved in friendships, which is why we have found so many ways to be alone, which is why we have created this whole economy to keep us in isolation. And when I say economy, I mean I'm talking about people are making money off of you so you can stay home. And this is why it may be easier for you to choose AI as a friend than a real human as a friend. Because AI sure is being sold to us to become a friend. There's that economy again. And I want you to be disturbed about that. Because friendship is one of the goods. It's what's going to lead you to happiness. But I know your soul just clenched. Because some of your biggest wounds have come from an ending of a friendship or the ending of a relationship. Your ex-relationship or your ex-spouse was probably your soul friend once. This real hurt keeps you in a protected mode as you meet new people. You may think you're over him. In my case, I'm a girl. You're over him and you're ready to date again. But are you ready to date again? Because you got this protected layer on you. Are they ever going to see who you really are? So you're in this protected mode all the time. And you want to love again. You want to love vulnerably again. You want to have that depth of a friendship again. But the hurt still hurts so much. The risk is so real. Have you drawn close to a group of friends and eventually found yourself on the outside of that group? Have you felt judged because you didn't measure up to some standard, spoken or unspoken? Have you shared a struggle only to receive a sideways glance of judgment, made to feel like you're the only one who struggles? You feeling the clenching here? Have you invited and shared and invested, and then when you need something, no one is there? Have you opened up to a friend only to have that friend use what you shared against you? I'm sure I'm just skimming some harmful situations here that you are feeling really in your gut. So Paul Tripp, I'm using one of his books for this series. It's called Relationships, A Mess Worth Making. He wrote these truths about the real of relationships. There's 4 of them. They're going to get your vulnerability, but you know they are true. 1, our relationships will never work according to our plan because relationships reveal our heart and build our character. 2, our relationships will never live up to our expectations. This side of eternity, none of us get to be the person of our dreams, and none of us are ready to be the person of someone else's dreams. Our relationships will always grapple with some kind of difficulty. This could be you, this could be me, this could be a life circumstance. Do we have grace for all of that? And 4, our relationships will always need to improve. I say often in this church, we're all in this imperfect progress. And in the midst of this imperfect progress, we're trying to make soul friends. It is not going to be safe, is it? Does this make you want to have an AI friend instead? One more Paul Tripp quote that I love so very much. The problem with relationships is that they all take place right smack dab in the middle of something. And that something is a story of redemption. God's plan to turn everything into our lives into instruments of Christ-like change and growth. It's all imperfect progress. We talk about often here in this church, pain is your beginning, or pain is the door to distrusting God. Pain is your choice to live a smaller life or a larger story life. Because people are going to hurt you. Christian people are going to hurt you. We're all in this messy bit of redemption. Just because you're a Christian doesn't put you in a safe box. Because Christian friends are right smack dab in the middle of something. That something is the same story of redemption that you're in the right smack middle of. I wish having a Christian friend meant I wasn't exposing my vulnerable self to be hurt or to be betrayed. But that is assuming that my Christian friend is perfect when I know I am an imperfect friend to my imperfect friends. I'm just as capable of hurting someone like you've been hurt. Now, putting a life team together is still worth it, even with this vulnerability. That's why we're just calling the shot right now. This life team grows you. You will flourish. You will be happy. You will be further on this imperfect progress. But you must wrestle with the vulnerability of getting hurt again. Because people don't become besties by just talking about the weather, right? People Because close friends were all once strangers. We can't go from acquaintances to besties overnight. Requires time, requires vulnerability. Now maybe in your past, when you're younger, you just clicked with that one friend immediately and you're immediately best friends, and this might be like a life friend in our list here. But to have a soul friend, this takes time. This takes risk. In fact, Jeffrey Hall, professor of communication studies at the University of Kansas, says it takes about 50 hours to form a casual friendship and 200 hours to become good friends. That's 200 hours of vulnerable risk-taking. We are hurt by people we have relationships with. We're also healed by being in relationships with people. So this path forward involves finding safe people and environments where we can gradually take risks in being vulnerable. Okay? In your PDF document, we have an unsafe and unsafe document you can go find on our website. It's a good resource. From Dr. Henry Cloud, this is what he said. When connection is compromised, we often experience chronic emptiness, an inability to self-soothe, impulsivity, and persistent insecurity. These symptoms frequently lead to addiction patterns and depression. This is not flourishing. This is, and you may see people who have rooted in bitterness, and you're seeing this inability to self-soothe or impulsivity or persistent insecurity. They need soul friends. They need to find them in a safe place. They need, I don't know, I don't want you to become that. I want to bless you with a soul friend or two or three. It means you must try to make soul friends. You must take chances with people. Allowing yourself to be vulnerable helps the other person to trust you, precisely because you are putting yourself at emotional, psychological, or physical risk. It's one of those things when you take a risk, it's noticed, and someone might else take a risk. James 5:16 says, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The earnest prayer of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results. Part of a good thing here, this involves vulnerability. The fact that both of you are letting down your guard helps to lay the groundwork for a faster, closer personal connection. Just a little bit of science that I picked up about this. Sharing info about yourself triggers the same brain regions that responds to rewards like good food and attractive faces. Let me say at this church, we do share some good food together. A willingness to share about yourself is an important signal of liking and closeness. This is some science. It shows you trust someone to know things about you. Now, of course, there's a problem about oversharing. We're going to get to that in a few weeks, because that is a wall that comes up or a red flag situation. But to give of yourself a bit to someone who may appear safe or have a commonality or someone you've invested 100 hours into, I'm going to tell you, is worth it. Is worth it. Remember, this takes 200 hours of trying. So I have a very good conversation question for you. I hope you met with people. We're not with your AI friend tonight, but you're with people as you're watching this video together. A really good conversation question. Again, James 5:16. Confess your sins to each other. There's vulnerability. And pray for each other. There's vulnerability, so that you may be healed. Earnest prayer of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results. Here's the question. What about friends who pray for you? Do you value that? Is this a signal of somebody you can trust? Or does it trigger you that you don't trust them? There's a lot in that, right? What about the friends who say they pray for you? How do you figure that out? Have that conversation. I'll be back. The things shared have little to do with the way of Jesus, and we're a church, right? You can embrace the vulnerability in friendships and not be a Christian. The way of Jesus unites you to your Creator, and that is enchanting. Gives you the gift of forgiveness, that is enchanting. And the promise of eternity in heaven, that is enchanting. To get the goods, that again, life, knowledge, beauty, friendship, play, practical reasonableness, are benefits of the way of Jesus. This is what leads to happiness in the chaos of this life. These goods come easier when you follow Jesus because they are the outflow of what Jesus taught. So a relationship with Jesus is a relationship with benefits. And I use that play on words on purpose. May you find a relationship with Jesus that gives you these benefits for you to make the brave decisions to find soul friends to be on your life team so that your life may flourish. Amen. Done. No do-overs, one cough I could not get out.